They say blood is thicker than water. But nobody tells you what happens when the blood in your veins turns cold. My name's Lena Cross, and last year, I learned the hardest truth of my life. Sometimes, family doesn't stab you in the back. They smile, while they sell your name for a profit. I grew up in a small town outside Chicago, one of those places where everyone knows everyone, and your worth is measured by how loud people clap when you walk into church on Sunday. I am my family. That spotlight always belonged to my older sister, Melissa. She was born to shine. Homecoming queen, straight A student, perfect hair, perfect grades, perfect life. Me? I was the shadow that followed her around. The one fixing broken laptops, designing websites for classmates who barely remembered my name. Mom used to say, Melissa lights up a room, but you, Lena, you just keep the lights on. I laughed it off back then, told myself it didn't matter. But deep down, it did. It burned, quietly, slowly, like a fuse waiting to hit the dynamite. When I turned 27, everything changed. I'd spent years learning to build systems that couldn't be hacked, not by competitors, not by people with bad intentions. Ironically, the one thing I couldn't protect was myself. I launched a cybersecurity startup from my one-bedroom apartment. It was nothing glamorous, just me, a flickering monitor, and the hum of my old air conditioner. 3 years later, that startup was worth $40 million. Suddenly, I wasn't the quiet one anymore. But I kept it quiet from them. Maybe a part of me knew that the second I opened that door, they'd find a way to walk through it. It was Thanksgiving when the first crack appeared. The house smelled like cinnamon and turkey, the kind of scent that tricks you into believing everything's fine. Melissa leaned back in her chair, twirling a wine glass between her fingers. So, she said, her smile too sharp to be friendly, I saw your company in Forbes. When were you going to tell us you were rich? The table went silent. Dad laughed it off. That's my girl. But Mom, she just looked at me, calculating, like she was doing math in her head. I smiled, said something about how it wasn't as glamorous as it sounded. They moved on. At least, that's what I thought. A few weeks later, an investor called my office asking about Cross Consulting Group, a new venture I was supposedly backing. He said, I just wanted to confirm your involvement before wiring the funds. I frowned. I don't have a consulting group, I told him. Then he emailed me their pitch deck. My name was on the cover. My face, my bio, my company logo, even fake testimonials with my signature at the bottom. I scrolled through the file, my heart pounding harder with each page. At the bottom of the document, it said, co-founder, Melissa Cross. I sat there in shock. My sister had created a fake company using my name to lure investors. They'd built an entire fraud empire, and I was the foundation. That night, I called her. Melissa, I said, what the hell is this? She didn't even sound nervous. Relax, Lena. It's just business. We're family, we share everything. In the background, I heard Mom whisper, tell her it's temporary. My voice shook. You forged my name. You're stealing from people. Melissa sighed like I was overreacting. You've got more money than you know what to do with. Let someone else shine for once. That line, let someone else shine, cracked something inside me. I'd spent years building something from nothing, crawling out of the shadow they buried me in, and the second I stood in the light, they tried to drag me back into the dark. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I gathered every document, every fake contract, every email, every piece of evidence, and I sent it to the State Fraud Division. It took less than 2 weeks. One morning, I opened my phone to see the headline, Sisters Under Investigation for Cyber Fraud. Mom called that afternoon, her voice trembling between guilt and rage. Lena, how could you do this to your own blood? I didn't answer. I just listened to her cry, realizing those tears weren't about what she'd done, they were about being caught. For once, the guilt wasn't mine to carry, and Melissa lost her business license. Mom stopped calling. Dad stayed silent like always, a spectator in his own family's disaster, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. Like winning a war I never wanted to fight. Months later, I walked through my old neighborhood. The same cracked sidewalks, the same corner store where Melissa used to brag about being voted most likely to succeed. A woman at the checkout recognized me. You're one of the Cross girls, right? The tech one? I nodded. She smiled, soft and genuine. Good for you, honey. Not everyone makes it out. That simple sentence hit harder than all the praise I never got growing up. People always say, family comes first. But here's what they never tell you. If your family burns down your house, you don't run back inside to save them, you build something new from the ashes, and you lock the door behind you. So if you've ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most, if you've ever had to walk away to save yourself, leave a broken heart in the comments, because trust me, you're not alone.